Audio Jungle.
Hope burns bright at Manchester High as hunt for Jaden continues. As the search for 12-year-old Manchester High School student Jaden Smith entered its sixth day, more than 100 of his classmates, teachers, and administrators of the school joined the police in combing through the Wesley Road area after reported sight of the child there on Wednesday. But the search party left empty-handed as the hours-long hunt, which was aided by a drone, ended without a sign of the boy. Breeza, a sixth-form student at Manchester High School, told reporters that she is saddened by the disappearance of her young schoolmate. "I joined this search because I believe that we have to find Jaden. He is very important to our school body. He is in the cadets, and I think he's a very good young man. He served very well at his previous school, and I believe that he will excel at Manchester High School," she stated. "Today we are saddened. It is not a good feeling for us, and we are searching for him earnestly because he needs to come home," the person added. Amid the report of signs of the child believed to be Jaden, the sixth-form student is hoping for his safe return. "Jaden, come back. We need you. It is important for you to come back. I know that you're probably scared, but we will comfort you and cause you no harm. It is okay." On Wednesday evening, police swarmed Wesley Road after they were alerted by citizens that a child matching Jaden's description eluded passerbys who tried to approach him. One eyewitness claimed that the child ran off when people tried to approach him. "I was driving when I saw him, and a man was calling out to people for help. The boy was running. There was a taxi that was passing at the same time too, but the boy ran off by the time I turned my car around," she stated. Manchester High School principal said 102 students and 15 members of staff joined the search for Jaden on Thursday. The entire school population wanted to come out, but the protocols that would have to be engaged with parents would not have allowed us to get to everybody, but we believe that more numbers of eyes that we can get the road to a greater possibility of search, he stated. As it relates to the site inconclusive based on whom I spoke with, Jaden was seen along this was the road. When they raised the alarm, he started to run. One of my staff workers at school saw him, and she said if she had gotten some help from one of the maids on the road that he was going into another direction, they could have held on to him, but by the time they could have done anything, he disappeared somewhere in the area, he added. The concerned principal, who has been keeping hope alive for Jaden's safe return, said the account of the staff member gives optimism. "The positive we take from this is that he is alive. We're happy about that, and we think we are getting closer and closer to having a breakthrough, and so we are combing the air with a number of eyes, and the expectation is that we will find him," he added. "We want to see him and hold him, and we will take it from there. As you can imagine, the school committee is quite uneasy. We are not so happy when one member suffers and the entire committee feels it. We have a prayer meeting on Thursday, praying about the whole thing as a school community, and then following up with the search, and we believe that we are nearing to getting through a breakthrough in this matter," the principal added. Jamaica Customer Services Association urges service providers to prioritize customer service. The Jamaica Customer Services Association is urging the nation's service providers to place more emphasis on how their customers are treated. Speaking with reporters, Deputy Chairman of the association Richard Rowe explained that organizations will not achieve great customer service delivery without the proper initiatives in place. He says service excellence is an important tool which must be embedded in any organization by its leaders. Mr. Rowe is also encouraging persons, especially business owners, to register for the association's annual Service Excellence Conference on October 7 and 8. The conference is among several activities planned for National Customer Service Week, which runs from October 5 to 11.
Leaders and leadership plays a key role in delivering service to customers. And so we encourage organizations to seriously look at how they serve customers. And service excellence is that tool that should be used to serve our customers. Service excellence excellence is really a game changer. It enables the foundation really to build on sound standards which must be implemented uncompromisingly. We invite the public to visit the JAXA website and register for this conference. It is free, and come and learn the differentiating strategies which are being used by organizations to set themselves apart. And we should receive, the best service. The truth be told, when we pay for goods, we also pay for service. And so we should not be shortchanged. We should demand service at its best because you are deserving of it.
300 school cooks across Jamaica trained to prepare healthier meals for students. 300 school cooks across Jamaica have been trained by Heart and Estate Trust in how to better provide nutritious meals for students, Education Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon has disclosed. Speaking yesterday morning at post-cabinet press briefing, the minister noted that this was part of the government's efforts to combat the rise in obesity among the nation's children and to decrease the risk of them developing non-communicable diseases (NCD). What was happening is that we were teaching them how to provide nutritious meals, and so it's not chicken and rice every day, she stated. She said the cooks, who are set to receive NCTVET certification as range cooks, were taught how to create new menus, find innovative ways to incorporate more vegetables into the meal, and how to deliver cost-effective, nutritious meals. We understand that it is not just us using words, it actually has to be in action, she stated. Jamaica approved its national school nutrition policy last year, with implementation set to take place over 5 years. The World Health Organization's most recent global school-based student health survey reported that 2 out of every 10 adolescents aged 13 to 17 were overweight and 1 out of 10 was obese. Morris Dixon, in the meantime, also outlined that further emphasis will be placed on physical education in schools. We have to be very careful because the problem we see in older Jamaicans, the NCD's problem, start at a young age. We understand that at the Ministry of Education, and that's why we're taking steps like this, she added. Robinson chides the government for a continued failure to execute capital budget. Opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson says the government must act with urgency to reform procurement, accelerate project execution, and create the conditions for higher sustained growth following a report from the Independent Fiscal Commission (IFC) in which it flagged the government for under-execution in capital spending. The IFC said only 20.1 billion was spent in the first quarter of financial year 2025-2026 compared with the budget amount of 40.5 billion. It cautioned that this underspending, particularly in infrastructure projects, poses risk to much needed economic growth. In a release on Wednesday evening, Robinson said the country cannot afford what he said was the government's repeated failure to execute its capital budget, especially at a time when stronger economic growth is urgently needed to boost revenue and strengthen Jamaica's fiscal position. At the very time when the government needs higher levels of growth to generate additional revenues, the persistent under-execution of capital projects is constraining economic expansion, he noted. He pointed out that the figures from the IFC show that nearly half of the planned capital spending has gone unexecuted in the first quarter of the fiscal year, representing a pattern of the underspending by the government. This follows an underspend of 19 billion on the capital budget in FY 2024-2025 and an almost 9 billion shortfall in FY 2023-2024, Robinson stated. It is clear that we now have an unacceptable pattern of chronic under-execution. This will only continue unless the government tackles the inefficiencies and bottleneck in the public procurement system that are stranding the implementation of critical projects. He drew a contrast with the Dominican Republic where he said the government has committed to a multi-year National Infrastructure Investment Plan, US 12 billion, of which US 9.6 billion has already been spent with ongoing execution of major infrastructure projects across our province. In addition, He said the Dominican Republic government recently submitted a supplementary budget increasing capital expenditure by 0.4% of GDP to sustain public investment growth during this financial year. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.